It's a beautiful evening here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Got a little rain earlier today, but a gorgeous night. We're at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. Sellout crowd will be on hand as the Cubs take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. We're commercial free tonight here on Comcast Sportsnet. And great to have you with us along with Jim DeShays. I'm Len Casper. Third base has been an interesting topic this offseason. It seems to be the case that Chris Bryant is the long-term answer at third. Might play a little corner outfield. We know the bat is eventually going to play in the big leagues.
Absolutely. We're Chris Bryant free tonight, too, by the way. He played in the B game today, and guess what? He hit a home run. This guy's been an absolute beast here in spring training. He's got 6 home runs in the A game. The schedule so far, and just 23 at-bats. A great opposite field power, short, compact stroke. He's had some issues defensively, but obviously the bat will play in the big leagues. Big-time power potential. This is a guy who, once he settles in as a big leaguer, you can put it down 30, 40 home runs year in and year out. Obviously, he needs to stay healthy to do that. But what a great spring it's been so far for Chris Bryant.
And he's been battling a little right shoulder fatigue, so the last few days he's either been off or as a designated hitter. And as JD mentioned, he homered in a B game earlier today, but off to a great start so far this spring. Mike Olt, who had a rough year in the big leagues last year, he did hit for power, but hit for a very low average. Right now playing with a lot of confidence, both with the bat and the glove.
Yeah, talking to some of the Cubs people, they said the look in the eyes a little different, a little more comfortable, and a lot of times that's all it takes. You get that first year under your belt, you come back, you don't have that deer in the headlights look about you. He's playing aggressively in the field. He's a very good defender, so no issues there. He's been a little bit more patient at the plate, and he too has big-time power, not the consistent power production that Chris Bryant has shown as a minor leaguer, but Mike Olt, big-time power as well. In all likelihood, he'll be the guy. Tommy La Stella is going to see a little time over there as well. He's a versatile performer, can play all over the infield. Ultimately, it looks like it's going to be Chris Bryant's job, but Mike Olt could be there on opening day.
And pretty good lineup tonight. Olt is playing third and batting sixth. We'll see Edwin Jackson on the mound. He struggled his first time out, a lot better in his last start. Right-hander Ruby De La Rosa will go for the Diamondbacks. Normally we take a break before the first pitch, and we're just moments away from that. But again, we're commercial free tonight, so we're going to send it back to our Chicago CSN studios and our good buddy Luke Stuckmeyer. Luke, take it away. Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is presented tonight commercial-free by Apt Electronics, Appliances, and More. Pleasing people since 1936. A very rare day of a little rain here in the Phoenix Valley, which cooled things off just a little bit. My partner's blood has thinned. He's only been here about 4 days, and he's freezing. It's about 69, 70 degrees.
And this is a nice break for the players too. We're about halfway through the spring schedule, so the Cubs playing their first night game here tonight. It's nice to shake up the routine a little bit, and the cooler weather makes it nice as well. A little extra energy in the ballpark on a cool night like tonight.
Yeah, we are expecting a sellout. Cubs got off to a slow start spring. The record doesn't matter, but in case you're curious, they have won 6 of their last 7. Going into action here tonight, you mentioned Chris Bryant, homered today in a B game with minor league action now starting around the Cactus League. An opportunity for certain guys maybe to get a few extra at bats. It's a little more of a controlled environment.
Yeah, and there's been some cuts. C.J. Edwards was sent to minor league camp today. So those B games are important, especially a lot of times for the pitchers, because the starting pitchers need to get stretched out. They need their innings, and there's only so many innings available. Today, Kyle Hendricks pitched in that B game, and he was effective. He worked 5 innings, allowed 5 hits and 3 runs. He struck out 7, and for what it's worth, he also had a double.
This is a beautiful facility, Salt River Field at Talking Stick. It opened in 2011. The Diamondbacks share this facility with the Rockies. It holds about 11,000. Maybe not quite as intimate as Sloan Park. It's a big place, but they did a really nice job here, didn't they?
Gorgeous ballpark. Big yard, yeah. It's 390 in the power alleys here. 410 straight away, center field, 345 down the line. Ball carries well here in the desert. But still, of the spring training ballparks, this one fairly pitcher friendly.
It's interesting. We had a shot of Edwin Jackson earlier. Ruby De La Rosa down in the Diamondbacks bullpen has finished his warm-up tosses when the guys give him high fives as they head back to the dugout. Normally it's about 7 or 8 people in the regular season. Tonight it's about 30. Look at that. That's only about half of them.
Cramped quarters. Guys still getting to know each other. That's something you don't see very often out here. I'm going to put a little diamond dry down.
So we're just over 2 weeks away from opening night at Wrigley Field, and John Lester will get the start for the Cubs. The Cardinals hope Adam Wainwright is ready after dealing with some abdominal issues early on in the spring. How about the matchup coming up on Saturday down here, JD, at Sloan Park, as the Cubs will host the Seattle Mariners? It'll only be for about 4 or 5 innings, but Felix Hernandez and John Lester.
Yeah, that'd be worth coming out and watching that ball game.
That's the other good thing about spring training is we don't see the Mariners in the regular season. So one look at a guy like King Felix and maybe some of the other top prospects from teams we won't see once the regular season starts.
Well, this is such a great destination for baseball fans to come here in spring training, and I believe that the last thing I heard was they're going to blow attendance marks out of the water here with the attendance all around the Cactus League this spring. Big numbers everywhere. Everywhere you go, you see everybody wearing their team's colors. It's a great chance to see those clubs you don't normally see, to run into people from other organizations that you don't normally see.
Cubs averaging at home 14,600 plus at Sloan Park. And again, a huge crowd here tonight, and the Diamondbacks have taken the field. And that will give us an opportunity to look at the Cubs starting lineup, written out by their manager, Joel Madden. Dexter Fowler in the leadoff spot, playing center. Chris Coughlin has had a nice spring. He homered yesterday over in Glendale. Starlin Castro, the shortstop. Anthony Rizzo with some really good numbers last year against Arizona. Jorge Soler is in right. We mentioned Mike Olt in the open. Javier Baez is at second. Wellington Castillo, the catcher, and the pitcher Edwin Jackson is batting today. Second straight day Joe has the pitcher in the offensive lineup as well.
Diamondbacks defensively, David Peralta left field, A.J. Pollock is in center, Ender Inciarte the right fielder. Third to first we go Lamb, Ahmed, Owings, Goldschmidt. Gerald Laird, the veteran, is behind the plate. Ruby De La Rosa, hard-throwing right-hander, does the pitching for the Diamondbacks here tonight. Those are his spring numbers. Last year as a Boston Red Sox, he was 4-8 with a 4.43 ERA. Making 18 starts, a former top prospect of the Dodgers.
Now the Diamondbacks, I don't know if I'd say they're in a rebuilding mode, but they've made a lot of changes. Let's put it that way over the past year. Tony La Russa, the Hall of Fame manager, is now running their baseball operations. His official title is Chief Baseball Officer. He hired one of his former pitchers to be the general manager, Dave Stewart. They've got a new skipper, Chip Hale. So we'll get into that as we move along tonight. Let's get the umpires before we get started. Jim Reynolds behind the plate, and the base umpires will rotate tonight. Barry, Dreckman, and Wolf. So it's De La Rosa to Fowler to get us underway. Officially 70 degrees here at game time. But it's a dry cool. I think it feels great.
Mm-hmm. It's a good night for a cup of coffee and perhaps a nice cruller.
One missed outside. Fowler has some on-base skills, and we'll talk about that as well. That pickups in the offseason all kind of have a common thread in terms of the veteran guys. And even a young guy like Tommy La Stella, Fowler, Miguel Montero came over from the Diamondbacks. They're not afraid to work a count, and that has been an issue for this offense the last few years.
And Cubs have primarily been a team of free swingers, guys who hit the ball out of the ballpark. They do that a lot, and they've done it a lot this spring. But there's Fowler right on cue, drawing the leadoff walk. .366 lifetime on base percentage for Fowler.
Well, and you have a team that is going to strike out a lot, especially these power hitting kids. Baez, Bryant, Soler. But when they do hit the home run, you really like a lot of guys to be on base. The pitch to Chris Coghlan misses. He homered against the Dodgers yesterday.
Coghlan trying to follow up a real good bounce back year for him last year, former Rookie of the Year in the National League. Expect to see him do a whole lot of that. That was a very impressive swing. None of those guys gives you a tough AB.
He's reunited with one of his hitting coaches, John Maley. They were together with the Marlins a few years ago. Two balls, no strikes.
See if he can get out in front of one of these fastballs and whack one through the hole on the right side and let Fowler go first to third.
Knocked down by Goldschmidt. De La Rosa over to the bag for the out.
Tried to take advantage of that hole, just didn't hit it hard enough. Beats it into the ground. Goldschmidt, the first baseman, very good. Well, we got two of the best in the business here tonight with Goldschmidt and Rizzo.
RBI opportunity here for Starlin Castro. Runner at second. Bounced foul.
De La Rosa's got a good arm, mid-90s fastball at times, slider, changeup. Changeup's the secondary pitch he uses most frequently. Flip the occasional curveball up there.
Diamondbacks do have some question marks in their rotation beyond Josh Colmenter and Jeremy Hellickson.
The land of opportunity if you're a starting pitcher in the Diamondback organization right now. I saw a quote from Chip Hale just a day or two ago. And he said, "Oh, we still got 8 or 9 guys battling for 3 spots."
On the ground at third, Lamb will get Castro with Fowler holding at second.
If you push the cough button on the box that you're not using and you cough, it's still, you can hear it.
The air.
Yeah.
I noticed.
Yeah.
That's what we call the spring training cough button.
Check 1, 2, check.
One 1-0 on Anthony Rizzo. The lineup's not set yet, but it sounds like Joe's going to hit the pitcher 8th on occasion. I don't think John Lester will. Some of it will be based on how deep guys will go into the game. A lot of room in center for Pollock as Rizzo flies out to end the Cubs first. We go to the bottom of the first. Cubs nothing, Diamondbacks coming up, and now back to Luke Stuckmeyer in Chicago. The Diamondbacks starting lineup 10-6-1 so far on the spring. You see Pollock and Inciarte have had a big spring, both hitting at least 400. Paul Goldschmidt, one of the best in the business, as JD mentioned. David Peralta hitting cleanup. Chris Owings at second, but it's going to play short most of the time once the regular season starts. Lamb at third, Laird the catcher, Ahmed the shortstop, and De La Rosa the pitcher.
About the Cubs defensively tonight, an outfield of Coghlan, Fowler, Soler. And third to first will go Olt, Castro, Baez, Rizzo, Wellington, Castillo. The catcher tonight, and Edwin Jackson on the mound for the third time this spring, as Len mentioned. Struggled first time out, good last time, and coming off a year in which he was 6-15 with an ERA higher than 6.
Yeah, so he gave up 4 unearned runs in his first outing. One of the errors committed was actually by Edwin as he faces Pollock. Jackson is a former Diamondback. One thing we should notice, and I noticed it in his first start, was that he tried to work a little quicker. There's a Good slider, 1-1. Edwin's a thinker, and I know one thing they've tried to do is just don't think so much. Don't tie yourself up with your thoughts. Just get it and throw it. Another good slider. 1-2.
And still has a good lively heater. The slider's been an out pitch for him throughout his career. Last year he used his changeup and his curveball a little bit more frequently. So even though he really struggled, he was trying to find an answer, trying to mix things up a little bit with his repertoire. Left-handed hitters really wore him out last year. That was a big part of the problem. He hit .341 against him with a .412 on base and a .518 slugging average.
Strike 3 called for the first out.
A lot of times when you're trying to make an adjustment, and you mentioned that working more quickly, the challenge is you start there. Can you maintain it when you start to struggle? If you give up base runners, are you able to keep that same tempo? And that's one of the things we've seen from Edwin in the past. When things start to go south, he really slows down.
Here's Inciarte, and he bunts. Nice barehanded play, and Rizzo just could not handle it. Should be an infield hit for Inciarte. Holt has made several barehanded plays this spring. And throw is just a little offline.
Yeah, high fastball, just a little push one down the third base line. I think Holt might have had a little more time to set his feet, gather himself here. He got on this ball quickly.
Paul Goldschmidt, his 2014 season ended on August 1st. Hit by a pitch against the Pirates. Suffered a broken left hand. One of the big questions in Diamondbacks camp is Yasmani Tomas. He came over from Cuba and signed a huge contract. He's an outfielder by trade. They have given him some time at third base. Will he make their opening day roster? Signed a 6-year, $68.5 million deal. So where he plays and if he makes the roster will
dictate where other guys fall into place. Yeah.
Mark Trumbo's going to move from left to right. But I don't think Goldschmidt has to worry.
No,
he's
if you're
set.
looking for the one rock in their lineup, it's Goldschmidt. Runner-up in the MVP a couple of years ago. A lot of big sluggers you see extreme shifts for, but you don't really see it with Goldschmidt, especially in the outfield, because he has outstanding power the other way. So they play him pretty much straight up in the outfield. A little bit to pull on the infield.
2-1 now. Good snag by Rizzo on a low pickoff attempt. Swing and a miss. Jackson seems distracted by Inciarte over there. 2-2 in the dirt, 3-2.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. With men on base, I think there's a tendency at times to concentrate a little too much on the base runners, slow things down, get out of sync.
See if the runner will be on the move here. He is swinging a miss, strike three, and they're going to get him by 5 feet. Well, Castillo's had a really good spring, especially with his arm back of the plate, and that'll end the inning. So after one, we're scoreless, and once again back to Chicago and Luke Stuckmeyer.
As the 2015 Chicago Cubs look to make some noise at Wrigley Field. Opening night tickets are sold out, but tickets are still available for the Tuesday and Wednesday matchups with the Cardinals. Get your tickets at Cubs.com. Let's go.
Jorge Soler will start the Cubs second. Leadoff walk by Fowler, but then De La Rosa worked a 1-2-3 and gets a breaking ball over for strike one. Hard to short on the ground. Ahmed has time to get him.
Well struck. Oh boy, Ahmed, he's a good one. He can really pick it out there at short. Great hands. Just doesn't bring a lot to the table offensively, and that's why Chris Owings is going to be the guy every day out there. It all starts with the feet. Ready position. He's able to slide over. You see a lot of guys backhand that one, but he was able to kind of get in front of it. They love his defensive skills.
Ball one on Mike Olt. Can play first base. Also can handle the corner outfield spots. And that versatility may come in handy. I don't know how it can't on a Joe Madden managed ball club. He has struck out 9 times in 28 plate appearances, but the key is he's walked 5 times. Breaking ball, and he busted his bat as Ahmed will make this play.
A lot of times high strikeout totals are a byproduct of a patient approach at the plate, a willingness to take pitches, work deep counts, try to force the pitcher to make a mistake, make him do a little extra work out there.
So Javier Baez with just over 2 weeks to go before opening night. He's 3 for 26. He's had some stretches during which he's hit the ball really hard. 7 strikeouts and 26 trips, no walks. He has been making some mechanical adjustments and Is he on the opening day roster? Well, it's not a guarantee just yet. But I know the one thing Joe Madden does not want Baez to do is to press and to worry about results.
And that's, from a player's perspective, pretty much impossible to do, right? I mean, you're a young kid coming off a year where you struck out a whole bunch at the big league level. You feel like you have something to prove. No matter how much you're told, don't press, relax. It's impossible not to press a little bit.
And a pretty good pitch. That was a changeup, wasn't it?
I think so. Yep. He's got a good one.
90 miles an hour to get Baez for his first strikeout of the night. So he has set down 6 in a row since that leadoff walk in the first inning. We'll go to the bottom of the second, still scoreless. And once again, here's Luke.
Customers and guests in a private suite at Wrigley Field. The Nuveen Investment Suites can accommodate anywhere from 15 to 55 guests, include food, all-you-can-drink beverages, and parking. To book your premier experience at the ballpark, visit Cubs.com/suites.
Great view of Salt River Field's a Talking Stick here in Scottsdale, just off Pima Road. David Peralta takes ball one. Pretty interesting story. David Peralta, former pitcher in the Cardinals organization. A couple of shoulder surgeries, left-handed pitcher. Released by the Cardinals organization in May of '09, did not play at all the following year, and then came back as a position player through independent ball. Backhanded play, Castro. You ever heard of the North American Baseball League?
I don't think so, no.
Well, he started there with the Rio Grande Valley. Played at Wichita, in a different league than Amarillo of the American Association, and got all the way to the big leagues last year and had a good year. Now Owings playing second. Holt playing in at third. Good fastball on the inside corner. Owings coming off left shoulder surgery.
They're a banged up bunch, weren't they?
Yeah,
last
really
year.
were.
You know, the Goldschmidt injury, we talked about that, but this kid was nicked up. A couple other the position players, obviously the Bronson Arroyo had surgery. Patrick Corbin missed all last year. He's still not back after Tommy John surgery. He was an all-star in 2013. At least Chip Hale will start his big league managerial career without the burden of great expectation.
Three and two. Did I just see Mark Grace?
You did indeed.
Gracie, it's good to see him back in the big leagues. He is their assistant hitting coach. That's low, ball four. Gracie spent 2 years in the Diamondbacks system as a hitting coach. And there's the lefty on the left. Great to see him back where he belongs. Jake Lamb. Fast steal. They've got a shot. Owings just able to get back in time.
Lamb took a fastball right over the heart of the plate, and Wellington Castillo sneaks behind him, snaps off a throw, and Owings a little out of sync with his footwork down there. May tighten up that lead a little bit.
Fouled out of play.
Suspect the Diamondbacks under Chip Hale will run a little bit this year. They don't have a lot of power in the lineup. He's going to probably try to put some guys in motion, play a little hit and run. Hale had a successful run as a minor league manager with the Diamondbacks. Most recently, he was a coach on Bob Melvin's staff in Oakland.
Swing and a miss for strike three. And Hale, former coach here in Arizona, so back with an organization with which he is very familiar.
Fits the profile, doesn't he? I mean, as a player, he was a utility type guy, a real grinder. Originally an infielder, but he went out, he played the outfield some. Started just down the road at U of A in college.
Member of the champions in '86, NCAA champs. Ground ball to Alt. He'll take the short throw. Ball was hit by Gerald Laird as he rolls into the fielder's choice. So 2 quiet innings as the starting pitcher is sharp early on. 0-0. Back to Chicago and Luke Stuckmeyer.
Charity run presented by ATI Physical Therapy Saturday, April 25th outside Wrigley Field. In recognition of the Race to Wrigley's 10th anniversary, the Cubs will introduce an additional race, the Let's Run 2 10K. The course will allow race participants to run through the streets of the scenic Lakeview neighborhood before returning to the friendly confines. Sign up at racetowrigley.com.
Great to have you with us tonight. We will be back with you here on CSN on Sunday afternoon from Sloan Park as the Cubs will entertain the San Diego Padres. Boy, this working every 3 or 4 days thing.
It's a grind, man.
Okay?
Yeah. Well, you got to ease into it. It's a long season.
Breaking ball in there on Castillo. Haven't asked Willie specifically about this, but he knows the situation here with Montero and Ross. Definitely on the roster, and a lot of rumors about where Willie will end up, whether it's as the third catcher or traded elsewhere. And I think he's handled it really well. And if anything, it feels like he's kind of taken it as a little extra motivation.
Yeah, and I think he's proven in the last couple of years to be a real hard worker. Where the challenge is if you carry 3 catchers just to get him enough at bats.
Yeah, and if any of those guys play any other position, it's first base, which you got a guy who's going to play 162 or close to it.
Well, he may have caught a break there. That was a pretty good looking pitch. But they do. The thing about it is, I think there's a lot of people think that there's pressure on the Cubs to trade Castillo. Yeah, that's a good heater. On the plate, perhaps a little low. Because there are not enough at-bats. It doesn't make sense in the long term, probably, to carry 3 catchers. But there's not a sense of urgency to move him because of the versatility of some of the other players.
Right.
Alcantara, La Stella, I'm not sure exactly what the roster makeup is going to be, but if you have guys that can move around and play a lot of different positions where you have coverage, then you can afford to keep that third catcher on your roster for a while and let things shake out, let a market develop, and then make the deal.
Yanked foul on a changeup at 89. De La Rosa's hit 96 tonight on his fastball. And you see that let up pitch is it's pretty effective.
I chuckled there at the end of the second when you identified that changeup to Baez at 90 miles an hour. 90-mile-an-hour changeup is kind of not fair.
There's another one, and that one's inside. Ball 4. We'll bring up the pitcher, Edwin Jackson, a former outfielder. News today, the Brewers exercised their manager Ron Renicke's option for next year, so he will not go into the proverbial lame duck season. I remember we talked about it in September when they kind of collapsed. That we both thought that would be foolish to let him go, but
yeah, sometimes
he does a good job.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes clubs do foolish things when they felt like they're in a position to win and it slips away.
Well, I think the other thing was, and I remember last spring I thought Milwaukee was kind of an underrated team, but they probably ended up where they should have all along. Just so happened that they were in first place for 5 months.
Mm-hmm. That's the nature of the baseball schedule, isn't it? I mean, you can get fooled early. They were a good club, though. I mean, we talked a fair bit about it last spring, that they were a little underrated.
Runner at first, nobody out. We're in the third, and De La Rosa's 1-2 to Jackson is outside. Deep to left field off the bat of Edwin Jackson, and it's going to one-hop the wall. Castillo's going to be set by Gary Jones, and he'll get there without a throw. How about that? The heck with a sac bunt. How about an RBI double?
Yeah, and when you let a guy swing away in that situation, you run the risk of a ground ball double play, but Joe Madden turned him loose, let him swing, and it paid off. Slider didn't slide much.
Thing of beauty.
Yeah, foot down, hand stayed back. That was the key. He was out in front a little bit, but the hand stayed back. And a big yard keeps it in the ballpark.
Dexter Fowler slices one to the gap. Jackson's going to score. Fowler's got a double. Back-to-back two-base hits, 2-0.
Well, impressive work by Dexter Fowler here tonight. He started the game with a leadoff walk. This time he comes up with a man in scoring position, so instead of being patient, he's ready to swing the bat. Gets a fastball to his liking, carves a little line drive into left center. Back-to-back doubles.
That'll bring out the pitching coach, former Cub Mike Harkey. So I was talking about guys who have on-base skills like Fowler and La Stella and Montero. If you look at recent Cubs history, there's one year that really stands out, 2008, where they led the league in on-base percentage. 354, but as you go down, look at that. They have not been above 10th in the National League in on-base percentage since. So that, that's something that kept Theo awake at night over the winter. Like, we've got to improve our on-base percentage.
Identify the problem and then go out and try to fix the problem. And we've had that conversation a lot the last couple of years over nature versus nurture. Can you take players who typically aren't high on base guys and make them more patient? They tried it with Castro a couple of years ago, try to work more counts, try to draw more walks. It's probably easier just to go out and acquire those players than to change the guys that are already on your roster.
Two 2-0 on Coghlan.
It's not just the on-base part of it. I mean, that's obviously very important, but it's also working the count, making that starting pitcher throw more pitches, try to get into the soft underbelly of the bullpen, try to get into that middle relief. For 5 points, can you tell me who's going to be the opening day starter for the Colorado Rockies?
Oh, I saw this the other day. Can you give me a minute?
Sure.
Okay. I'm not going to look it up. Coghlan takes the walk, so 2 walks, 2 doubles. Still nobody out. Why don't you just tell me? I read it.
Kyle Kendrick.
Kyle Kendrick, the former Philly. That's right. Yeah.
That means Jorge De La Rosa, who's generally considered to be their ace, will pitch the home opener against the Cubs on April 10th.
Assuming it's not snowing. Starlin grounded to third in the first inning.
Rosa really out of sync with his mechanics now. Really got underneath that fastball.
And we're going to see a little more of that this year on our graphics. Occasionally the slash line, which I really like. Batting average, on base percentage, slugging. That will land foul. Just foul.
We almost had a full house of doubles over walks there. Castro bid just a little bit foul.
Well, this is the kind of inning you're talking about, with working counts, keeping the pressure on, keeping the line moving.
Providing RBI opportunities for those guys in the middle of the batting order.
Look out. And that got the bat of Castro and then hit the foot of the on-deck hitter, Anthony Rizzo. That was a 2-for-1. Fortunately, everybody's all right. Strike 3 called. Got to make up from the earlier miss.
I don't know. Maybe where our camera's a little bit off center, so maybe it was over the plate. Looked outside though, didn't it? Laird had to reach for it a little bit.
Have we gotten a shot of his hair yet under that helmet? We'll have to try to get a look between innings at Anthony.
Yeah, I saw it briefly. I can't tell if it's green or yellow. He's got something funky going on.
I think it's blonde. I think it's bleached blonde. There you go. Yeah, he's going to shave his head on Sunday. So I guess why not have a little fun? Looks almost orange. Joe Madden and many of his players are going to have their heads shaved this Sunday at about 11:30 on Field 1 at Sloan Park for charity. And a select number of fans can participate by donating $100 to get their heads shaved alongside Cubs players. Get a T-shirt. For more information, go to Cubs.com and find the community tab.
Respect Ball. I kind of got the jump on that program.
Yeah, you're way ahead of it. It's going to support children with cancer. So a great cause coming up this Sunday, and we'll have some highlights for you on our next telecast. Foul.
There's that changeup again. That time a bit of a hanger. Good swing by Rizzo. Thigh high changeup. It usually gets hit hard.
Peralta left. Fowler tagging, and he'll make third, and the back runner gets to second as well. That's Coghlan.
Good base running by Fowler and Coghlan, and probably a bad decision My Peralta throw probably should have come into second base. He's kind of drifting to his left as he catches the ball. Fowler makes third base easily, and Goglin's able to trail in and get himself into scoring position.
A couple more in scoring position for Soler. Way up in the air. And Ciarte puts it away. When we come back, we will chat with a former Cub. In his third tenure with the organization, he's now the bench coach, Dave Martinez. But once again, back to Chicago and Luke Stuckmeyer. Great to have with us the Cubs' new bench coach and a guy very familiar with Wrigley Field and looks good in that Cubs uniform. That's Dave Martinez. Dave, welcome home, so to speak. I got to start with this, though. There's nobody sitting in the folding chairs outside after those two foul balls. What's going on? I don't think you can hear me. We'll try to get
I think we got a little
dialed in here in a second.
A little audio issue.
Here's Nick Ahmed.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Davey, can you hear us?
Barely.
Great to have you with us.
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, I can.
Okay.
All right.
We noticed everybody vacated the folding chairs. What's going on?
That was a little bit, that's called getting the head out.
There's one away in the inning. Welcome back. As I said, welcome home, so to speak. 2 tours of duty as a Cub player and now as the bench coach with Joe Maddon. I'm sure it feels good to be back.
Awesome. It does. It really does. Like I told everybody before, it feels like I'm coming back home. And what a time to be back, with the Cubs. It's so exciting. I know Joe and I are both really excited to be here, and we're looking forward to winning a lot of games.
Here's a pitcher, De La Rosa. Inside, ball 1.
So what have been your primary responsibilities this spring, Dave? Have you helped, put together the whole plan for camp? How does Joe kind of turn some of that over to you?
Oh yeah, we've been together for so long that I know what he wants to get done. I know what we need to get done, and we got a great coaching staff here. And spring training's been going really well. The biggest thing for us is to make sure our fundamentals are down. And we preach it every day, and the guys, the response that we've had so far with everybody has been tremendous. They're putting forth the effort. We're cleaning up everything, and so far everything looks good.
3-0 the count on the pitchers. Jackson tries to get back into it here and finds the strike zone. So when you started as a Cub, there were no lights. What was it like that year in '88 when all of a sudden day baseball became occasionally night baseball at Wrigley Field?
Yeah, I mean, I was there. We played nothing but day games, and now I think we play half and half, a half night, half day. So that's definitely going to be a change. A lot of rumors, about playing all the day games, and so we'll see what happens. I personally, I like playing the day games at Wrigley. I thought it was awesome. But now that we got the night games, we'll see what happens.
And I know Joe has kind of joked that he's not a morning person, but it is an adjustment, isn't it? And until you're a Cub every day, it is a different schedule than pretty much everybody else in baseball. You've got to live it, right?
Absolutely, it's definitely different, and you got to find that happy medium. You got to find that routine at home and kind of stay on that routine, And then when you go on the road, now all of a sudden you got to change the routine and start, getting accustomed to playing at night again. So I think it's going to be a lot better, like I said, because we have a lot more night games now. So the day games won't be as frequent, but it'd be nice to to win a lot of those day games because other teams have to come in and play day games as well.
I want to ask you about one player in particular, and that's the center fielder Dexter Fowler. What do you see from him in the outfield?
He's going to. I'll tell you what. He's going to be a tremendous help for us. Guy's a professional, and our challenge to him this year is to go out and win a Gold Glove. I can't see why he can't. He's been working really hard on his defense. I worked with him, and I've been showing him some different things that might be able to help him. So we're looking for big things from him.
Is it fun for you to be back in the National League with some double switching and the like in the middle of the ball game?
Hey, absolutely. I don't know if you guys realize, but our style of play over the years with the Rays, with the different lineups and different matchups and all the moving parts, it almost felt like we were in the National League. So we're kind of accustomed to doing things that way.
To that end, you're asking some guys to be willing to move around a little bit. I know there's been some talk about Mike Olt taking some balls into some fungos in the outfield. And any progress there? Have you seen Olt in the outfield, or is that just something going forward?
Well, we'll see. He's so valuable at third base, and he's played a little bit of first base. Even though we got Anthony Rizzo, it's nice to have another guy that can play over there. There's a good possibility, though, that we might try him out in left field and let him go out there and get some balls. It's nice to have moving parts. Nice to have good athletes that can do different things. So then, your hands aren't tied during the course of a game.
Davey, we appreciate the time very much, and we look forward to a fun 2015. And again, welcome back to the Cubs.
Absolutely, and thank you, guys.
That's Dave Martinez, the Cubs' new bench coach, and a very familiar face to a lot of Cub fans going back to the mid to late 1980s.
Davey, a big leaguer from 1986 to 2001. Cubs, Expos, Reds, Giants, White Sox, Rays, Rangers, Jays, and Braves.
Yeah, he moved around a lot and came back to the Cubs briefly in 2000 when he played for 4 teams. We'll have to ask him about that next time. He wore 4 big league uniforms in 1 major league season. It's got to be a record, right? Pretty close to it.
Yeah, I think Dave Kingman did it.
Did he wear 4? Yeah.
And I think Jose Vizcaíno may have done that too. But I don't think anybody's ever done more than 4.
Mike Olt takes a strike as we start the 4th. Olt, Baez, and Castillo. Late swing as he fouls it off.
Boy, of course, I could be absolutely wrong on that too. I'm going to look it up because there are no unanswerable questions.
The Google machine,
break it out.
This ballpark has really filled up. Maybe a somewhat late arriving crowd with the 6:40 local start. It looks like we've got upwards of 10 or 11,000 here at Salt River Fields.
In 1977, Dave Kingman was a Met, a Padre, an Angel, and a Yankee. Played in all 4 divisions in 1 year.
Called strike 3.
That's the trivia question, yeah.
So you haven't seen Baez a lot, but when you look at him, other than the fact he's lost a little weight, does anything look different to you?
I haven't seen a lot of his at-bats. You know, I had him over in Vegas. I haven't noticed anything. I know he's talking about trying to change his approach a little bit, especially with 2 strikes. Kind of get a little quieter, a little more middle of the diamond, in his approach, middle the other way.
Two and one the count. Cubs really had De La Rosa on the ropes. They scored twice against him in the 3rd and could have had more. Full count, 3-2.
Also wanted the changeup. Yeah.
Just turned 26. Originally signed by the Dodgers in 07.
Ruby, RUBBY. Is that short for anything? Do you know?
I believe Ruby is his full first name. Ruby Carlos. Didn't Kenny Rogers sing a song about him? Take Your Love to Town?
I think
that was with 1 B. And Baez takes his first walk of the spring.
Hey, Cub fans, tickets are still available for the matchup on Tuesday, April 7th with the Cardinals. First pitch at 7:05. First 30,000 fans will receive an official 2015 Cubs Magnet schedule presented by Jack Daniels. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
That's a shiny building. The Talking Stick Resort. A lot of resorts around here. I'll tell you, the last couple of springs down here, you better get your reservations in early.
Yeah, this area is hopping. It's jammed.
Thing Joe Madden said that we may see some everyday guys play all 9 on occasion here the next couple of weeks, but his thought on it is if it doesn't happen for everybody, it's not a big deal. I think he's pretty relaxed when it comes to these spring training rules. I don't think he feels like he has to have any sort of set lineup to play together.
Right.
4 or 5 days in a row. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Joe seems like a pretty spiritual guy, and there are a lot of things in that lane, I guess, that he buys into, and he talks a lot about the mental side of the game. But it doesn't seem like he's very superstitious, which I like. That he likes to mix it up. He's going to tell guys certain days, don't come to the park early. Get them out of their routine.
Right. And that's, it's unconventional, but it makes so much sense in a game that just, we talk so much about the grind, and we honor the grind, the everyday nature of this sport.
Well, it's already built in. You don't have to do more of it.
Shake it up. Yeah. Right.
The routine is, I'm going to be at the park every day.
Yeah.
Beyond that, there should be a lot of room.
And sometimes it has to come from the manager because the player doesn't feel comfortable doing it on his own. He's not going to go to the skipper and say, hey, you mind if I show up at 4 o'clock today? Or
absolutely.
But if it comes from the top down, here's the deal. You're not going to take BP today. I don't want you showing up till 4:30, 5 o'clock. Stay home for an extra couple hours, hang out, just do something to kind of freshen the approach.
Jackson with an RBI double and a run his first time up, and he took a healthy cut on that pitch, and it's 1-2. Strike 3 called. All the outs were punch outs, so 5 Ks for De La Rosa, but he's also walked 4. It's 2-0 Cubs, and back to Luke in Chicago. Nothing lead, and great to have with us our good buddy Patrick Mooney, who covers the Cubs beat for CSNChicago.com. This is not officially a split squad day, but it certainly felt like it as the Cubs played a B game earlier this afternoon. I don't even know who won, but I know Kyle Hendricks pitched well, and I know Chris Bryant hit a home run, and I know you were there.
Yeah, it was the Chris Bryant show. Once again, it seems like every day there's a reason to write about him, and I think Joe Maddon's reaction was something like, oh my God, that ball got out of here pretty quick. It was no doubt about it. Left field berm, probably more than halfway up, and he just keeps continuing to hit.
Pretty impressive, eh?
Unofficially, 7 home runs this spring, 6 in Cactus League play. Any indication on when he will get back to playing third base with the shoulder fatigue? I know he's been DHing here this week.
It sounds like he passed a throwing test today. They'll evaluate it again tomorrow, and if everything looks good, Joe Maddon said we'll be pretty close to seeing him back at third base here pretty soon. So that is obviously something the Cubs needed to see this spring, whether or not he can handle it. Obviously, we've gone over all the financial implications of spending a couple weeks in Des Moines, but they legitimately want to see him get into that rhythm defensively. And obviously, if he can play third base long term, that would be, huge value for them.
1-1 on Inciarte. Well, I got to ask you, how was your winter, Patrick? That's kind of always the question we ask in spring training, the first time we chat.
I was busy. There was a lot to write about this winter. We got the annual manager search, or new manager press conference. Actually
Lester
signing the big free agent instead of coming in second. So it was plenty of stuff to write about.
Leadoff single by Inciarte. He's 2 for 2.
Did you have to scramble back from any vacations for big announcements?
No, I think I timed it pretty well, actually. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
So Joe Maddon yesterday, I thought he handled the Bryant Boris stuff pretty deftly, and that's not a big surprise, is it?
Yes, he said scorpions bite. You do what's in your nature. And then someone on Twitter told me that scorpions actually don't bite.
They sting. We understood the point.
We got the metaphor there. But yeah, I think Joe Maddon's been as advertised. We heard about how good he was in Tampa Bay, with young players and kind of creating an environment and taking some of the pressure off them. I think we're going to see that a lot this year, just because there is going to be such a focus on all these guys.
Yeah, and that's why I think he is so good at taking the heat off the players.
Blocked by Castro. Actually barehanded by Baez, so they get one but not two.
So in other words, the point being that he's the right guy for the job when you're ready to win. The assumption is when you have that personality, you're really good with young players, and he is. But he's also really good with veteran players. And when the pressure's turned up and there's a lot of heat, you need that guy who's not going to panic, who's not going to scream and yell and knock over the spread in the clubhouse every time you go through a losing stretch. You need a guy who can kind of decompress things a little bit. And I think that's where the real value for Maddon is when this club is ready to win, whether it's this year, next year, the year after. I think he's a real good fit for a winning club.
Swing and a miss by Peralta.
Where do you what do you think ultimately happens with Castillo?
I was talking to a scout earlier today, and he thinks that he'll be on the opening day roster, that no one, if someone really wanted him or was willing to meet the Cubs asking price, they probably would have done it by now. And I think the Cubs aren't in a position to just give him away because, David Ross and Miguel Montero have excellent reputations. They're kind of what this team needed, a veteran presence, but they're both, they've been around a long time, and catching is such a grueling position that if you lose one guy, the drop-off could be pretty far if you don't have Wellington there. Still, I think as soon as, someone deals with an injury out there, maybe a team comes back to the Cubs. But at this point, Joe Maddon keeps talking him up. He's an excellent blocker, real strong arm, and he's still on the right side of 30, and they really like his attitude. He's handled this really well, and I think he's learned a lot from those veterans, kind of the way they talk to pitchers and that they always speak up.
2 strikes on Peralta. Runner at first, 1 out. We're with Patrick Mooney as we try to figure out what this roster will look like in a couple of weeks. How about the guy pitching tonight, Edwin Jackson? That first rough outing was a lot better his last time out and has been pretty sharp tonight.
Yeah, I think Travis Wood came in here with, that 5th starter job was his to lose. The fact that he was an all-star a couple of years ago, that he's not as bad as he was last year. But Joe Maddon's been talking up Edwin for a while now, that he had him in Tampa Bay. He still thinks there's something more in there. I don't think it's going to be enough to where he breaks this rotation, but obviously if you look around camps throughout Arizona and Florida, the way injuries have hit pitchers, maybe he does find a spot here.
So Laird just can't get it. Oh, I hope he's all right. He went down to the track. That'll be a double for Peralta, and everybody holding their breath in the first base dugout. And I see P.J. Mainville, and I believe Matt Johnson, a couple of the Cubs athletic trainers, almost sprinted out of the dugout, but Jorge got up. Boy, that is scary, especially in spring training.
Maybe the best sight was the trainers, PJ and Matt, retreating back into the dugout. Soler able to dust himself off and return to his position. Here's the good swing by Peralta. Looked like he got a little leather on it, and bang. That goes to that conversation we have every spring. How hard do you play in spring training? Is it worth it to run into walls in an exhibition game?
Here's Owings now, second and third with one out. See, and it's funny, JD, I agree with you. You're more of the mindset of when in doubt, don't. I think you're right, but I think it's almost impossible to get most players to live by that.
And he's the one guy that they've been trying to take it slow with, knowing his injury history, saying let's get his legs underneath him, and then he's
bobbled by Castro for the second time in the inning, and that will be an error. So a run was going to score anyway. That's Goldschmidt. And now they're at first and third. I believe that's the second error, I should say, for Castro during a Jackson start. He had one in Edwin's first outing. This was very routine.
Yeah, it looked like he was in pretty good shape there. Just clanked it. Maybe peaked a little bit, just lifted the chin a little bit.
So here's Jake Lamb. I know Daniel Bard struggled today, but the Cubs like what they have there, and they're going to be patient with him. But if it comes back, we might see him in a big league uniform again.
Yeah, I think it's hard to count on that, but the people that know Daniel Bard, not just the numbers he put up with the Red Sox a couple of years ago, but just that he's a good dude, had great stuff, and they have a lot of people kind of rooting for him. I think they brought in one of his old pitching coaches, and he had one of the best relievers in the game not that long ago, and so we've seen what Jed and Theo do kind of in general, just like a numbers game, going with volume, and particularly in the bullpen. And the 7 guys they break with aren't going to last the whole year, and they're going to need those waves of reinforcements. And it would certainly be a nice story if Daniel Bard makes his way to Wrigley Field.
1-2 on Lamb.
One or two lefties in the bullpen.
Well, Phil Koch is in. I mean, he signed a minor league deal, but I think everyone expects him to make this team. He confirmed he had major league opportunities or offers out there, but he liked kind of what he saw here. So you got to figure he received some pretty strong assurances that he'll be heading to Chicago in April, and he's kind of an interesting guy who's been on some really good teams, and that's when you look at that bullpen, that's probably the biggest weak spot.
Zach Rosscup, certainly a candidate as well from the left side. The Cubs stocked with hard-throwing righties. As you mentioned, look out, that caught somebody over there on the Diamondbacks bench where the coaches are in harm's way. Is that Turner Ward? Yep, the hitting coach. Took it off the right shoulder. Edwin grinding here, trying to get a double play ball and get out of this with no further damage. Two and two. is Baez on the opening day roster? We were just talking about him before you came into the booth.
We were talking about that with Joe Madden earlier today, and JD, it goes back to your point that he's been really good at trying to diffuse those questions about Baez's swing and what it means long term. But he said he's not a lock to make this team, that there's no entitlement program. You can't just give the kid the keys to the cars and stuff like that. And if I was betting now, I'd say no. That doesn't mean the Cubs are writing Javier Baez off or anything like that. I just think they're looking at all the changes they're trying to make and not overwhelm him. I think it's probably going to make a lot of sense to send him to Des Moines for a little bit.
This will get Peralta home to tie the game on a sacrifice fly. And it's 2-2. That'll be an unearned run. Well, they turned to Arodys Vizcaíno basically into Tommy La Stella. Vizcaíno, because they had so much depth in that bullpen, they were able to turn that around into a really intriguing player in Tommy La Stella.
Yeah, he kind of does what the Cubs have lacked, and just that kind of contact skills, the ability to get on base. And if these young hitters are as good as advertised, there's certainly a need for a guy like that. And that's why I think the Cubs do have some options at second base. They're a team that wants to win now, and I think they just are going to have a hard time justifying letting Javier Baez figure it out at the major league level at Wrigley Field, where every time he strikes out, people on Twitter are going to go crazy, or every time he has like a 3 strikeout game, we're going to be at his locker, and that's going to be part of his game. He has a big swing, he's going to miss, but if he can cut that down a little bit, Madden was saying this guy's a baseball player. He has a lot of special abilities. He's got a good IQ. He's a good base runner. He plays good defense. There's a lot there to work with, no matter what.
Well, that's the other thing, and not to open another can of worms about Kris Bryant, but there is an assumption here that he will not struggle, which may be right, but do we assume that Kris Bryant will just dominate big league pitching from the day he gets to the big leagues to eternity? They might try to get the lead as Owings will come around third, and the relay throw is late. It's 3-2 Diamondbacks. Well, this inning, JD, has kind of been an Edwin Jackson microcosm as a Cub, victimized by the error, but unable to
pitch around the error, which you have to do from time to time. Things tend to snowball on them.
But to finish up the Bryant point, Joe Madden referenced that the other day about the idea of starting one of your top prospects with all the hype in the minor leagues and then bringing him up after the season starts and maybe a couple of dominating weeks at AAA.
Yeah, that's what I asked Anthony Rizzo about that yesterday, and even he's told Bryant, like, dude, like, don't worry about it. Like, you'll be laughing about this in a couple of weeks, and that, it's not the worst thing in the world to go to Iowa, get hot, and be comfortable when you get back up there.
Patrick, we look forward to chatting with you throughout the year once again. Patrick Mooney.
Stick around for donuts and coffee if you'd like.
Yes, we do have refreshments. Let's send it back to Luke Stuckmeyer. Luke will send you a decaf as well. Hoops teams from classes 3A and 4A hit the floor in Peoria in pursuit of an IHSA state title. Coverage starts tomorrow at noon on CSN Chicago. For game schedules, go to csnchicago.com/preps. Andrew Chafin, a left-hander, in a 3-2 Diamondbacks lead.
Cutting action on that fastball from the lefty Chafin, 24 years of age. Look at his numbers for 3 appearances this spring. Made 3 starts for the big club last year. Double-A Mobile, Triple-A Reno, and then Mobile, Triple-A Reno, and then that brief time with the Diamondbacks last year for the young lefty. Coffee's here.
And what do you got? You got a donut too?
Got a little chocolate glaze working.
Nice. Fouled off.
It used to be back in the day, like day games. You go into the clubhouse and there'd be coffee and a couple boxes of donuts, and that was it.
Right.
The game has changed as well. A lot more nutritious, and they've got chefs in clubhouses making omelets and frittatas.
So that just means you eat the frittata, then the donut.
Then the donut.
The aforementioned Phil Koch is getting loose, so we'll see him at some point tonight. Off the plate inside to fill it up, 3-2.
Don't know much about Chafin. There's Koch warming up. Just watching his pitches here early on. He reminds me a little of the Cingrani kid with the Reds. Fastball's up in the zone, cutting in on right-handed hitters.
Thought I read Cingrani's going to start the year in the Reds bullpen. And Jason Marquis, the former Cub, will be in the rotation.
No kidding. Got to get the head out early, get out in front of that cutting fastball. So, Cueto, Bailey, Marquis. Who am I missing? DeSclafani, is he in the rotation?
Who?
Don't they have a DeSclafani?
Yes, Anthony DeSclafani, I believe, will be in as well.
And they might not need 5 right out of the chute with early
it's
off
5.
days.
I just gotta find out the 5. I saw the story the other day. Ball 4. Dexter Fowler is on again. Raciel Iglesias.
Not familiar with him.
I think they signed him last year. A 7-year contract last June.
Cuban?
Yep. Or Raisel, R-A-I-S-E-L, Iglesias.
Looks like it could be a tough at bat for a left-handed hitter off this kid.
Homer Bailey coming off surgery. There's a fair ball hit by Coghlan. Fowler on his way to third. Gary Jones is going to put on the brakes. With nobody out, that's the right move.
Well, we mentioned how this could be a tough at-bat for a left-handed hitter, but Coughlin hangs in there. Slaps it the other way. Whether that was his intent or not, I don't know, but it worked out. Yeah, and no doubt stop sign by Gary Jones at third base. Chance for a little redemption here for Castro.
We forgot about. You mention Mike Leake?
Mike Leake. I forgot about Mike Leake.
Into the right field corner, and it's down, and the Cubs are going to get a couple to grab the lead again. So Castro making up for the error by knocking in 2. It's 4-3.
Oop, watch it. Fallon almost lost it going into the dugout. Castro just missed a double earlier in the ball game down the right field line. This time it pays off. A little bit behind the fastball, but still barrels it up pretty good and drives it the other way. Good swing.
Swing and a miss. All right, John Fay, who covers the Reds, beat writer, Cueto, Leake, DeSclafani, Marquis, Iglesias. And that's with Homer Bailey not being ready to start the season. Up in the air, foul territory, and no play for Lamb. And we saw the Reds last weekend. They need a fully healthy year out of Joey Votto. That's really important. They need a better year from Jay Bruce than they got last year.
Yeah. Strength of that team last year was the starting rotation, but there's been a lot of turnover. Oh my. It's a tough take on 0-2. Rizzo was looking for something soft there.
Gets away from Laird and will allow Castro to advance on a wild pitch.
So the Homer Bailey, did they know that he wouldn't be ready to go?
He's coming off surgery, yeah. Flexor mass surgery last September. Comes Soler after Rizzo strikes out. First out of the inning.
Chip Hale's got his infield in here.
Strike called. Out into deep left center, in the gap. And a fan may have touched it. That is what happened, and Soler, I believe, will head back to second. We'll see. Boy, he raced around the bases.
Yeah, it's not an automatic double, right?
Right,
With fan
it's
interference,
not.
they can place him, and that's what the conversation is right now between the umpires, whether they feel like Soler would have had a 3-base hit anyway. I hope they do, because I put him there on my score sheet.
Well, I don't think the fan had really anything to do with the play, because if it doesn't hit the fan, it just kind of bounces off the top of the wall. So they are going to let him stay at third with the triple. And that's why you run hard. So he knocks in a run. It's 5-3. Now Michael.
Again, infield in for the Diamondbacks, and they play old with an extreme shift. You see 3 fielders there on the left side of the infield.
Inside 1-1. A great tweet from Randall Sanders watching us tonight. Says, man, Len Casper, I hate it when stuff hits the fan.
Yeah,
well said.
Yeah. I was looking to go in there myself, but I wasn't sure how it would come out.
A lot of strikes, but 3 of them have ended up as extra base hits. So throwing strikes can be at times overrated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the built-in contradictions in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Home runs are strikes.
Bear down. Don't give in, but don't walk them.
Long run in Ciarte, out of play.
Well, I quote him often, Warren Spahn. His philosophy was as close to the plate and as far away from the barrel as possible.
Sums it up.
And so many guys, that's what the key for so many pitchers is strike one, because they get the jump and then they just start to expand, just start to tease the corners of the strike zone, prey on the hitter's insecurities, get them to offer at your pitch. You lose that advantage if you go ball 1, ball 2.
Right field corner again, twisting. That is a foul ball. Boy, that was really close.
Talk about strong. You reach for that ball and hit it the other way, 350 feet or so.
Wow, that was close. A lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Just to the right of the yellow pole. Yep. We got it right. Strike 3 called. See, that's the kind of strikeout that I don't really mind, because I feel like Mike's seeing the ball well, and that's a borderline pitch, and if he didn't think he could do anything with it, keep the line moving. That's okay.
Yeah, and I think this guy's fastball, he's got a little bit of a short arm delivery, and I think there's a little sneakiness or deception there when he's up in the zone. And Mike maybe just a little bit late getting started and knew he wasn't going to be able to get the head out in front. He was clearly frustrated because And in his mind, he's thinking, man on third, I've got to find a way to make contact there. Sometimes you just get beat. And as you walk back to the dugout, you look at the hitter in the on-deck circle and you say, come on, man, pick me up.
I don't know if Jim Angio, if we can look at that foul ball again off the bat of Olt, but a lot of tweeters believe that ball was gone. And I thought it was too, but that last look clearly showed it was to the right of the pole. So they got it right. My initial reaction was home run, but
my initial reaction was, where'd that go? I didn't see it. But
no, it is to the right of the pole. It does not disappear. In front. You can see the white, see the shadow across the pole.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. It was fouled by about a foot, if that. So Baez strikes out. The Cubs, however, get 3 to retake the lead. It's now 5-3 in the 5th. And let's head back to our CSN Chicago studios with Luke Stuckmeyer. The Cubs Vice President of Sales and Partnerships, Colin Faulkner. I assume this is about the 3rd trip you've made to Arizona here.
Fourth trip.
4th trip.
Yep.
Yeah, you've flown a lot here this month, but you can't beat spring training. We've had great crowds at Sloan Park. Great crowd tonight here in Scottsdale, and we're only just over 2 weeks away from opening night at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, no, everybody's getting really excited about opening night and seeing some games that count back in Chicago.
So a lot of exciting things happening at Wrigley Field. Obviously, the renovations have been a big topic of conversation, but the ballpark will be ready to go on opening night, and people are going to notice. They're going to be watching the bleacher project get completed over the next few months.
No, it's been a different offseason with all the construction that we've going on, and our fans have been interested to see how things are going to turn out and been really patient with us. But I think the bleachers are going to turn out really well. It's going to be exciting to see that happen, and over the next several years, it's going to be really good.
Do you watch those home improvement shows? You ever watch HGTV?
I do, in fact.
So kind of a big reveal?
Well, little known fact, I went to, you watched that show, Fixer Upper. I went to college with Chip from Fixer Upper.
Oh, nice.
Little known fact. So I do watch those shows. I don't know if we're having a big reveal like that, but a slow reveal over several years probably.
Well, that would be fun to open up the doors and you and Crane and Tom could walk through. You could start weeping. Oh, this is beautiful. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine this.
I don't know if that's going to happen.
And look what you've done with the floors.
Phil Koch against Yasmani Tomas. We mentioned him earlier. Outfielder by trade, learning third base. The big offseason signing. And Koch actually signed with the Cubs this month. And you see his numbers to this point. Cubs leading 5-3. Here in the bottom of the 5th. swing and a miss. The Fits and the Tantrums show was announced a few days ago. Let's talk about some of the other events coming up at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, so Fits and the Tantrums after the White Sox game, which will be something everyone's looking forward to, and a bunch of concerts. We actually tomorrow go on sale with Zach Brown tomorrow, so fans can go to Cubs.com and get their Zach Brown tickets.
So July 10th is the Fits in the Tantrums Extra Innings show, headlining the new Budweiser Bleacher Fridays. That's in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And I know, ticket sale renewals were terrific. There's just a ton of excitement around this franchise right now. I thought the Cubs convention, and it was my 11th, there was more buzz around this year's convention than any other I've been to.
Yeah, it's definitely true. My, been here 4.5 years now, and this season is the vibe is totally different. You guys feel it just being around the team down here in spring training.
Was there an immediate reaction with the folks calling and looking for tickets after the Madden hiring and the Lester signing? I mean, was there a marked increase? There had to have been, right?
It's a good question. We actually were done with season ticket renewals before any of the Madden or Lester stuff happened, and we were at record levels. We'll have the largest season ticket holder base in franchise history, and but as soon as those things happened, there was a huge interest, and we're lucky to have such great fans.
So Koch wins that matchup against Tomas, and back to the top, and A.J. Pollock. Well, Joe Maddon kind of checks all the boxes, doesn't he? And I would think for the sales and marketing staff, he checks those boxes too, doesn't he? He's been great. I mean, just being around him, he's a great guy. He's great with our fans, with our sponsors, with the staff. He is as advertised and better. 5-3, the Cubs have the lead. We're with Colin Faulkner, the Cubs front office. So I'm sure you're getting phone calls, people calling the ballpark asking about just some of the logistics in April and May with the ballpark. What would you suggest to fans who are season ticket holders who are going to be at the ballpark early in the season, what to be on the lookout for when they come?
Yeah, I think for fans coming to the ballpark in the first couple of months of the season, I think we've been look at that.
Little flare base hit.
We've been trying to communicate as much as possible what the ballpark's going to be like. Clearly, the bleachers are a little bit behind in left field and in right field. And then the left field concourse is going to be kind of under construction as we go throughout the season. So there'll be some work going on. It'll be kind of a pardon our dust situation. But I just walked through there before we came down a couple days ago, and the weather's warming up. They're making a ton of progress, and it's going to look really good. Fans are going to want to come see it. Even in progress, it's really cool to see what the team's doing to keep this ballpark around for a long time.
He's in Ciarte. Well, I agree. And, the option, and I know Crane had mentioned at the convention of playing a season or two in another ballpark just wasn't fair to the players or the fans. So to remain at Wrigley Field and to do a lot of this in the offseason, it's a process. And when it's done, it's going to be, as you mentioned, off the charts great.
Yeah, no, we looked at all sorts of different options as we planned it out. And it's really unlike anything anyone else has ever done. Back to JD's analogy of the home renovation project.
Mm-hmm.
We're renovating while we're living in it, and so it presents a lot of challenges. But Tom and the family were really committed to Wrigley Field, and we want it to be around so that we can take our kids and our grandkids there for the next 50 years. So
2 strikes on Inciarte. I know this will be a season of honoring the late Ernie Banks as well. The Cubs tonight, and every game this year will be wearing the number 14 patch on their jerseys.
Yeah, opening night, we've got a bunch of stuff planned. It's going to be really cool. Actually, have some stuff we haven't told people about yet, so stay tuned. And throughout the season, it'll be really cool. We've got some cool stuff planned, and it's a huge loss. We miss Ernie, and the video board being new in left field will give us a chance to show some cool footage of Ernie and have our fans be able to honor him.
Video board is being assembled as we speak.
It is being assembled as we speak. So for fans that have seen the photos on Twitter and other places, it's coming together quickly. They're putting the video board pieces together, and they will put it up, and we'll turn it on and start getting it ready for opening night.
And the other cool thing is the ballpark has been around for obviously now over 100 years. The first opening night
That's right.
ever at Wrigley Field will be here in 2015. There's still time for firsts in this great old ballpark.
I've been told the weather's going to be perfect.
We'll hold you to it.
I hope you're right.
Or we'll hold whoever told you that to it.
Right. No, it'll be a good experience. It's kind of a unique game. You've got Lester going. You've got kind of a new look with Madden and the team.
Cubs Cardinals.
It's Easter night, the Sunday night. Yep. It's the opening for Major League Baseball against the Cardinals. All eyes will be on our game, and that's kind of the tradition now. Is the opening night now, and I think going forward for baseball will be that opening night game. We may have some surprises that night, so it'll be fun.
Now you have piqued my interest, Colin. I don't even know these surprises.
Stay tuned.
2-2, hit foul. Well, I know the other thing you would encourage fans, and I definitely would, is look at that April and May schedule. And, if you want to get really good seats, those are the months to do it. And, yeah, there may be some days where it's cold, but you may catch a break on a Wednesday afternoon, and it ends up being 62 degrees and sunny. And
I always encourage people to ditch work. So
do the Ferris Bueller bit in April and May as they get one. Would have been a tough turn. Inciarte runs well. Castro's had a tough night with the glove. 2 down in the inning. It'll bring up Goldschmidt.
And think about it, for some of these April and May games, we've taken out 5,000 seats for those April games, and so the inventory is a little bit more limited than it may be in the past. And like I said, we've had great ticket sales up to this point, so it's a good time for fans to go grab tickets now.
So that'll be a 4-6 fielder's choice, and here's Goldschmidt. These are matchups, JD, I know Phil Koch relishes, because when he was brought in, he was asked about being a left-handed specialist, and he scoffed at that. He said, I'm a baseball player. I'm not a loogie.
Well, let's look it up. Let's check out his splits. Throws his changeup a lot, so that leads me to believe that he has been successful against right-handed hitters. There's a good heater in. Koch came up with the Yankees, had success with the Tigers last year, worked 62 games for Detroit.
Speaking of Detroit, we'll see the Tigers at Wrigley Field, the White Sox, the Royals, the defending American League champions, the Indians as well.
Yeah, the Royals is actually shaping up to be a really hot series, kind of given the proximity, the rarity that we see them, and we'll have a good weekend against them.
Yeah, I would think those interleague matchups, you get a lot of out-of-towners roll in. People, last year we had the Orioles come in, teams that almost never come to Wrigley, and their fans get a chance not only to kind of make the pilgrimage to Wrigley, but see their team.
Well, and the Royals fans are probably pretty fired up right now, and couple that with the chance to see Wrigley Field. And then the White Sox actually is a lot better for us this year. Last year we had that 2-2, in the middle of the week, and this year we've got the 3-3 on the weekend split up, and both fan bases have been pretty fired up about what their teams have done this offseason. So those will be huge.
Yeah, the series at Wrigley Field will be going into the All-Star break. That's deep. Soler makes a catch right up against the wall. Colin, thanks for the time, and can't wait.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yep, just over 2 weeks away.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Let's send it back to Chicago and Luke Stuckmeyer. Cubs leading 5-3 as they'll bat here in the 6th inning.
4 appearances this spring, 2.25 ERA. Pitched at Visalia, an A-ball last year.
Other changes, and we'll get to them eventually.
This young man was named to Baseball America's 2014 second team minor league all-star team and was rated the best fastball in the D-backs organization for the 2nd straight year, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Peter O'Brien is now at first for Goldschmidt. Nick Buss is in right, and Inciarte goes from right to center. Those are the new guys. Outside, and it's 3-1 on Castillo. Ball 4, Castillo walks for the 2nd time. Mike Baxter. Fly ball to left.
Cubs invite you to take advantage of free remote parking and shuttle services on night and weekend games. The remote parking lot is located at 3900 North Rockwell. For details, visit Cubs.com.
Good night for Fowler. Just announced the attendance, 13,028. Fowler has walked twice, doubled, knocked in a run. Strike called, 1-1. These two teams will match up the final two games of the preseason at Chase Field. It'll be April 3rd and 4th. So the Cubs will not have a workout day before opening night. They'll get home late Saturday night and then play Sunday night with an off day Monday. So most guys will have to move into their apartments or wherever they live in Chicago probably the day after opening day.
Yeah, that would be the plan, right? Take advantage of that off day. Just go up. The new guys stay in the hotel for a couple of nights.
Well, you've done the drill before. You had some minor league stops along the way. It is interesting, kind of the behind the scenes stuff that a lot of fans don't know anything about. A bubble guy who could end up in Des Moines or with another organization or just a flat out release.
Yeah.
Versus being in Chicago. He's got a wife and 3 kids in California or something. And where are we going to live come April?
Go into scramble mode.
Yeah.
Remember the first year I made the big club out of camp with the Astros in '86. I didn't know I'd made the club. Nobody told me I was on the club. Nobody told me I was off the club. And so I told Lori, I said, well, just start driving west. You're either going to go to Houston or Tucson. And this is before cell phones, so you couldn't,
Right. Couldn't text her.
Yeah, just start driving. And
Castillo goes, fly ball deep left. Going to stay in the yard. Just onto the track is Peralta.
Another good night, or a good at bat for Fowler. He said, been really good tonight. 2 walks, a double, and a good swing there. Showing some pop the other way. A switch hitter. Fowler's been better as a right-handed hitter in his career. Just didn't quite square it up. Good lively fastball there from the hard-throwing Burgos.
So where was she when you?
So long ago. I don't remember all the particulars. I think she just kind of stopped in Houston and was with a couple of the other veteran wives, and he said, "No, you're good. Just stay here." They never did tell me that I made the club, but they never, I just kind of got on the bus and went to the airport and got on the plane and figured I must be good.
One and one on Coughlin. Right field, Bus has it. Inning over. Leadoff walk, no runs. And we've been tossing it to Luke Stuckmeyer. Now we're going to chat with Luke in the middle of the 6th. Cubs leading 5-3. What do you got, Luke? And I think JD kind of alluded to it earlier. I think he takes all that pressure off who's the face of the franchise or whatever. I think Joe is totally comfortable doing that. And JD, that just allows Rizzo and Castro and Soler and all these kids just go play.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And I think, a lot of that is external. I mean, people put expectations on a club. They expect players to respond in a certain way to it. And at the end of the day, most guys are pretty good at kind of filtering all that noise out and just going to the ballpark every day, putting on the uniform and playing the game. There's this kind of song and dance we do as players when you're dealing with the media. We have to say certain things. And, I'm so-and-so's the leader of this club. So-and-so's the face of the franchise. We can handle the heat. This guy can't handle the heat. And at the end of the day, most of it doesn't matter. It's just go play. But that guy there, Joe Maddon, I think he can be a difference maker in that he's really good at kind of his feel for that. And again, I haven't been around Joe a whole lot, but everything you read, everything you hear, when you hear his interviews, you hear him talking, and the people that have been around him for years, they say he's just really, really good at creating the right tone in the clubhouse. We talk a lot about leadership in this game, players with leadership abilities. To me, once you've got the right manager, you need a bunch of good followers. You need guys that buy in and go, okay, here's the boss. This is what he wants us to do. And it's kind of contradictory, but essentially you become a leader by being a good follower, by following in line with what the manager and his approach is.
Let me take a look at the roster just because there have been a few guys who've stood out. Young guys. Almora, kind of had a down year last year. His dad was ill, so I think that bothered him a little bit. But Albert's had a couple of really good days back to back. He turns 21, I think, in a few weeks, so he's still really young. I just like his aptitude, and I still believe in him and think he's, he was part of that core 4, and you're hearing more about the other 3. But I think Almora in a couple of years is going to be here and is going to be here for a long time to come. There's Peralta with a base hit.
And I really haven't seen the club play that much because I haven't been down here the whole time. A little bit I saw of Addison Russell in the series. In Vegas. I was impressed just the way he carries himself. He's athletic. He moves like a big leaguer. He's got quick feet. Ball jumps off his bat pretty good. And again, that's another one where it's mostly what I've read and been told about the player and what I've seen so far with my eyes. But there's nothing that I've seen that leads me to believe that he's not going to be a really good player.
Yeah, that's a great call. And I will add one more on the pitching end of it. C.J. Edwards, who pitched a couple of scoreless innings yesterday against the Dodgers. When you look at him, he's 6'2", 155. That's what he's listed at. He looks like he's about 6'2", 130. But he gets outs, and he's a very competitive guy. And I'm not going to doubt his ability to get to this level. And I know the Cubs are pretty excited about his potential as well. Felix Doubront is now working. And inside ball 1, or ball 2 rather. 2-0 the count on Owings.
Numbers not good so far for Doubront. 5 innings, 13 hits.
3-0. Caught the inside corner, 3-1.
You didn't eat your donut, Len?
No, I haven't had time to finish it. Where's yours?
I had time. I made time. Good pitch.
Fill it up, 3-2.
Dubron, long arm action, drives that ball down around the knees. Perfect pitch.
Comes all the way back and gets him. Started 3-0. And he struck him out.
On Friday, April 17th, the Cubs take on the Cincinnati Reds. First pitch is at 1:20. And the first 10,000 fans at the ballpark will receive a Cubs Winter Aviator hat presented by Pepsi. That could be winter or early spring. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. I might be wearing that baby into June.
Lefty versus lefty here. Dubron against Jake Lamb, but first to check on Peralta. Being assisted by Dave McKay, former Cubs first base coach. One of the best in the business, Dave McKay. Your thoughts on Edwin Jackson tonight? His line, 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned. So he's given up 6 unearned runs this spring.
Yeah, you know, from a scouting standpoint, you know, good life on the fastball. Early on, especially, really good depth on his slider. That's what caught my eye initially. Really good action on his slider. But we talked about it at the time. It's kind of always the case, or often the case, excuse me, with Edwin, where, you know, misplay behind him, things tend to snowball, and he ends up with that 3-run inning. Again, the misplay by Castro certainly hurt. But it's been a problem that rears its ugly head time and time again for Edwin. But stuff-wise, real good.
He had a good night at the plate with an RBI double and a run in the third.
It's such a grind mentally when you're going through what Edwin is going through. And you get a fresh start every year, but coming off 2 real tough years is the burden of the big contract. It's tough when you're on a club and you've really struggled. You feel like you haven't done your piece to kind of get over that hump mentally. You can try to talk yourself into it. You can say all the right things. But you can't be going out there with a lot of confidence.
And he has said all the right things.
Oh, he's been great. He works hard. He's
He has not made any excuses, not a one.
Yep.
Three and two. Runner not going, and that's rocketed past a diving Mike Baxter. It'll send Peralta to third.
And I think with Edwin, maybe the best thing for him would be a change, whether it's a change of scenery with a different club or a change of role. You know, working out of the bullpen, something where he can kind of, well, I'm not that guy anymore. I'm not the guy who's going to go out there and start every fifth day for the Chicago Cubs. I'm either going to do it for another team or I'm going to work out of the bullpen. And you know, the stuff would still play. The stuff is really good.
Now the veteran Gerald Laird, he knocked in a run with a double in the fourth. Looks like it'll be Tuffy Goswitch and Gerald Laird making up the Diamondbacks catching tandem after the trade of Miguel Montero to the Cubs. Ball one. Well, the other, we talk about how all the built-in, paradoxes and contradictions in this game. Everybody says, don't pay attention to spring training. Nice play. Baxter will step on the bag, throw to second. Tag applied, but I think the run counts. It does. The run had scored before Castro applied the tag, so it is a double play to end the inning. But it's now 5-4, so give the Diamondbacks an extra run as we head to the seventh inning, and let's send it back to Chicago and Luke Stuckmeyer. Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs. (5-4), so the Cubs get a double play to get out of that inning, even though a run did score. As right-hander A.J. Schugel will take over. So let me finish my point. So everybody says spring training doesn't matter, but it does. Because if a guy's horrible in spring training, he's a bubble guy, he's not going to make the club, most likely.
Right. The wins and losses don't matter, but yeah, the individual performances matter. The work that gets done obviously matters a lot, getting ready to play a championship season.
Now, in every ball club, you could probably point out, 3 or 4 starting pitchers, maybe 3 or 4 relievers, and 3 or 4 position players, and they could all be just awful the entire month, and they're going to make the club. The veteran guys, the guys who you just pencil in.
Right.
And then just about everybody else, you got to do something. I mean, Castro and Rizzo haven't done a ton at the plate, but it's irrelevant.
Yeah, it's not an open tryout for most positions, but there are competitions for certain jobs. And it's an opportunity for a young player, even if he's not going to make the club, to kind of make an impression, kind of plant that seed in the back of the manager's mind that you might be a guy that can help later on in the summer.
Castro just inside the first base bag, and the ball gets past. Busts the right fielder who slipped, and Starlin will make his way to third.
On extra base hits for the Cubs here tonight. Doubles and triples. Nobody's left the yard yet.
I mean, he slipped on the carom. I'm giving him 3.
Yeah, I think it's 3.
I'm not going to charge the right fielder with an error on that play. Junior Lake with his first at bat, infield halfway in. And a called strike. Kyle Schwarber is on deck.
I believe that's Blake Lawley now.
I
catching.
just noticed. Yep, former Cub.
Funky, maybe a little split finger pitch that got away from him. He was a Double-A pitcher last year in the Diamondback organization, 6-4, with 3.47 ERA and 26 starts. His first year with the D-backs organization. Prior to that, he'd been with the Angels, working his way through their chain, starting back in 2010. Late round draft pick, 25th round of the 2010 draft.
Good sinker, 2-2.
That one, again, another example of an opportunity for a hitter to show a little willingness to make an adjustment with a man on third base and put the ball in play. That problem has plagued Junior as well. We talked about it earlier with Baez and others. A lot of swings and misses from Junior.
Well, he went. Thought he had held up, but Jim Wolf said he did not.
Live Chicago Cubs baseball is back in 2015 with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected with live radio broadcasts, stats, breaking news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball.
So Luke asked about another young kid who has grabbed our attention. I forgot about Kyle Schwarber. That's about 4 or 5 guys that I mentioned. This kid can hit. Can he be an everyday catcher at the big league level? Everybody I've talked to in the Cubs organization about that says they think he can. There's that split or changeup. 0-2. You can see the grip. That's a changeup.
Yep. Almost like a palm ball.
Good breaking ball to get him.
10th Cub to strike out tonight. A couple of nasty pitches to finish him off.
Ball one on Alt. Nice job, partner. You got the new catcher before the press box.
I'm locked in.
Announcer
I'm
did.
locked in. I'm starting to peak. Fill out a bracket for the NCAA basketball?
Well, we did for CSN, and I think I just picked all the favorites. So I got some right and I got some wrong today. How about you?
Yeah, there's some crazy games.
There's some 3-14 upsets.
Yeah, at least 2. Baylor got beat. Iowa State got beat. North Carolina just barely escaped over Harvard.
Joe Madden lost his bet with Matt Caesar as Lafayette lost to Villanova.
So Joe's got to wear a Villanova hoodie.
I believe so. Yeah.
And there might have been a bottle of wine involved in that deal as well.
Yeah, I don't think they I think a 22-point spread or something, and it was a 41-point win for Villanova. 93-52. The Wildcats over the Leopards.
Oh, good swing. Joe was a quarterback at Lafayette.
Ball 4. Here comes Baez for the 4th time. He's struck out twice and walked once. I want to go to the third base luncheonette in Hazleton, where I believe Joe's mom still works.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is the case.
I bet they have great coffee. Those old school places, they have the best coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Caught the outside. It's 1-1 on Baez.
Maybe get a cheeseburger deluxe. Side of fries with some gravy on top.
1-2. Now, if I'm in a diner like that, even if it's like noon and it's the first meal of the day, I'm going omelet.
Going eggs, yeah.
Yep. First and third, 2 outs. Leadoff triple by Castro, but Schugel striking out Lake and Schwarber before walking Mike Olt. Olt takes off and Baez fouls.
That was a little bit of a hanger. That one stayed up. He got away with it.
Olt not running this time, and Baez chased a bad one. And that will end the inning. So 7th inning stretch time from Scottsdale. The Cubs lead the Diamondbacks 5-4. Back to our Chicago studios and Luke Stuckmeyer. Look to shoot down the Stars in Dallas. Chevy Blackhawks pregame live begins at 6:30 on CSN Chicago. Man, are they ever hot? I think they're like 10-1-1 in their last dozen.
And they were kind of limping along there for a little while and got hot.
Scott Darling with the shutout in New York. So changes for the Cubs. Christian Villanueva's at third. Jonathan Herrera's at short. And left-hander Francisli Bueno will do the pitching. What do we got here?
A little wardrobe malfunction.
He's got the star on the hat. Oh, that's funny. Dave Martinez, the new bench coach, has been doling out stars for, good things, hustle, whatever, certain things. During camp, kind of like the old Pirates, I guess, did, right? In the 70s and 80s.
Stargell used to pass out.
So Jim Reynolds saw a star on Bueno's cap and made him put it under the bill. Ahmed with a single into center.
Come on, get out of the tree. First knock of the night for Ahmed. Bueno worked 30 times last year for the Royals.
So the other day against Kansas City, he came in with a 2-run lead in the 9th inning. He got the first 2 guys out. Jordan Pacheco takes a changeup outside. And then with 2 outs, nobody on, JD. Bouncer right back to the mound. And he just nonchalantly lobbed the ball over to first, offline. Then an error by the shortstop. Then a base hit. And then he got taken out of the game.
High drama.
And the Cubs had to just hang on by their fingernails.
I listened to you and Mick on the call.
It's one of those plays that probably happens once every 100 ground balls back to the pitcher. It just so happened with 2 outs in the 9th.
Yeah, and I don't know if Bueno falls under that category, but there's certain guys that just really struggle throwing to the bases.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it was. I mean, it just looked to me like it was styling a little bit. Just kind of lobbed it over like I've got a lot of time, and he just didn't set his feet.
You know, take so many ground balls in spring training, PFP, pitchers fielding practice, and all the time when it's, comebacker, somebody's always screaming, step and throw, step and throw.
This should be 2. 6-4-3. Started by Herrera. Kind of feels like this game needed that. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of deep counts, a lot of base runners. Somebody just needed that double play ball to clean up an inning here. Nick Buss.
Must have been low. Pretty good looking pitch. Bueno's not a hard thrower. Fastball a little bit below major league average. There's a lot of sliders and changeups. Few years in the Braves organization. One appearance with the Braves in 2008.
So the story there, his major league debut, he threw at Alfonso Soriano. He got suspended as a result, and he didn't serve the suspension until 4 years later.
Yeah.
He came back to the big leagues.
It was like The Fugitive.
Here we go. That was a fun panel at the Cubs convention this year. I had the pleasure of moderating the 2008 Cubs panel. That was fun. Dempster and Lilly and Wood and DeRosa telling Lou stories. Oh, man. Great time. Bueno with a scoreless 7th. Cubs lead late 5-4. Let's send it back to Chicago and Luke Stuckmeyer. League Baseball. Watch the Cubs go up against the White Sox tomorrow at 3 on CSN Chicago. Brought to you by Apt Electronics, Appliances, and more. Hawk and Stoney will have the call. I'll be webcasting with Mick Gillespie over in Glendale, Camelback Ranch. The pitching matchup will be left-hander Travis Wood and right-hander Hector Noesi. Dan Runzler now working for the D-backs. Ball one on Castillo.
Runzler has a big league time with the Giants. He had been in their organization since 2007 through last season. He hasn't pitched in the big league since 2012.
I have no idea who's going to catch this ball, but it's the right fielder. I know the position. Oh, it's Socrates Brito.
Oh, that's one of the best names in all of baseball. It's one of the best names in the whole world, Socrates Brito. I wonder if he gives long, thoughtful answers when he's interviewed.
Baxter, ball one. It really is true. The first week of the regular season is just a piece of cake for us, because the roster's 25. You'll see one or two pinch hitters.
Yeah, and most of the guys you have a little background on some, It's not as hard. This is hard work what we're doing here tonight, man. This is
oh. You had no idea.
Shaq was the Big Aristotle, right? Shaquille O'Neal, that was one of his nicknames, the Big Aristotle.
Right.
Yeah,
There you go.
He and Socrates Brito ought to hang out.
Baxter takes the walk.
Well, I believe, I have a hard time reading my own writing, but that's 7 walks issued by Diamondbacks pitching tonight, to go along with a bunch of strikeouts. And that's kind of one of the things we talk a lot about. It's strikeouts are part of the game, and it's okay if you strike out a bunch if you work a lot of walks as well. Fowler's gone walk, double walk, and then a deep drive to left field last time up. The ball well struck the other way as a left-handed batter. He's had a very good night at the plate. And try to crowd him with a heater.
Could not hold up. 0-2. I was kind of hoping we'd have a Coffey-Coke matchup. Is Todd Coffey still in the big leagues?
I don't know. For some reason, I think I saw his name not long ago. What's FFEY, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he signed, according to the Google machine here, he signed with the Braves.
Fowler got hit, and that one hurt. Let's see.
Didn't want to make a mistake with that slider. Just buried it on his back foot and indeed hit his back foot. Yeah, Coffey signed a minor league deal with the Braves back in February. Randy Wolf just signed a deal with somebody I saw today. The Wolfman, yeah, signed a minor league deal with somebody. He is not going to go quietly into that good night.
Well, hopefully this is just overly precautionary. And Fowler will leave. Jae-Hoon Ha, another great name, will run for Fowler.
Randy Wolf signed a minor league deal with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Okay. Two on with one out. Cubs lead 5-4 here in the 8th. And Coghlan fouled that one off his foot with a lower leg. Big toe, maybe? Oh, that stings. One and two.
And if you want to know what that feels like, just walk around to the corner of your bed and kick the leg of the bed as hard as you can.
That's Anthony Carter chatting with Lester Strode, the bullpen coach.
Lester doing his due diligence there, giving Carter the lowdown on upcoming hitters for the Diamondbacks.
Cubs have a couple of off days, and they have not had any yet since the game started on the 5th. Next Monday is an off day, although usually on off days there's still activity in camp. Certain guys have throw days. And then Thursday, April 2nd, 3 days before the season opener. Get the out at first. Go back to third. Actually hit the runner. It's Baxter over there.
Yeah, he blew out when he rounded third, took an aggressive turn to third base, and his feet kicked out from underneath him. Tried to slam on the brakes there.
Maybe some dew on the grass in this somewhat cool evening. Now Jonathan Herrera, switch hitter, batting righty. Cut and a miss. 94 on the fastball with a lot of life from Runzler. Golfed to right. Socrates Brito makes the catch.
You like his method there?
It's over. It's 5-4 Cubs in the 8th. Back to our Chicago studios and Luke Stockmeyer. Visit the Toronto Raptors. Coverage begins Wednesday at 5:30 on CSN Chicago. New pitcher for the Cubs. New battery, actually. Anthony Carter is the pitcher. Wilson Contreras is the catcher. Middle infield guys have swapped spots, so Herrera goes to second, Baez to short. Looks like Junior Lake has moved to left, and I think that is Ruby Silva in right. I'm going to go with it.
I won't dispute it. Carter, a non-roster guy here in camp, 28 years of age. 26th round pick of the White Sox in 2005.
Nick Evans. Not Socrates
Not
Brito,
Socrates.
but we'll see him at some point.
Nick Evans was on the Big Valley, I think.
Line into center, and it drops in front of Ha for a leadoff single.
Carter pitched in Japan last year. On a 3.97 ERA. 48 appearances.
Does the name Bob Ufer ring a bell at all?
Not Uecker.
Ufer.
Ufer.
U-F-E-R. The longtime voice of Michigan football.
Oh, no, I'm not familiar with Bob.
And whenever I see Anthony Carter this spring, I think of Johnny Wangler to Anthony Carter. I think it was 1979. Game-ending touchdown to beat Indiana. And Ufer's call was, Johnny Wangler to Anthony Carter will be heard until the next 100 years of Michigan football is played. He had the Bo, George Patton, Schembechler scoring horn. He literally had the horn, and you'd hear it.
So you had sound effects
3 times for a touchdown, I think twice for a field goal and once for an extra point. Yeah. There's some Wolverines out there, I'm sure, who remember Bob Ufer. See, we'll tie it all together. Rick Leach was a quarterback when Bob Ufer was the announcer there, and Rick Leach later went on to play in the big leagues.
Yeah, played for the Blue Jays. Did he play for the Tigers as well?
He did. Yeah. Kurt Gibson played football at Michigan State.
Yeah, Leach, I remember I played against him a little bit in AAA. Along with Buck Bellew. Remember that name? He was a quarterback at the University of Georgia. Played minor league ball. I want to say with the Expos organization.
Would have been 2, but Herrera couldn't handle it.
Yeah, it looked to me like he was trying to position himself to catch that ball and spin and make the throw to second base as opposed to getting in front of it. Understandably, he wanted to, but he'll settle for none. So he's shading towards the bag a little bit. This ball is well struck. I think he had time to get behind it, but he's trying to play it off to his side so he can do that little 360 move, spin around and throw back to second base.
Guess who's batting? Socrates Brito. That's a strike.
I wonder if he's any relation to Bernardo Brito. He's a legendary minor league home run hitter.
That will get through, and the Diamondbacks are going to tie it. And everybody advancing. Brito just kept on running. Now, that's a play where it kind of felt like the Cubs should have had an out somewhere, as Brito was uber aggressive.
Yeah, I'm sure Chip Hale in the Diamondbacks dugout was thinking that Brito's going to run into an out here. When he took that aggressive turn at first base, it seemed like a bad idea, but he got away with it.
Is this going to be a double? I don't even know if you'd say he went to second on the throw. You just got to kept running.
Yeah, it looked to me like he went to second on an anticipated throw to third base.
So the infield has to come in a tie ball game. And a base hit by Owings. O'Brien scores to make it 6-5. 4 straight hits.
Trying to work that sinker in to get a ground ball, and he got it, but Owings able to find a hole in the infield. We got a new chunker.
So that will be it for Carter. And we'll talk about the new pitcher when we come back. It is Drake Britton. Let's send it back to Luke in our Chicago studios. As the Diamondbacks in this seesaw affair have grab the lead again, 6-5.
So far, so good for Britton this spring. The product of the Red Sox organization and a little big league time with them last year. 7 appearances. 45 appearances out of the bullpen for Pawtucket, their AAA club. He broke into the big leagues with the Sox in 2013. Fastball, slider, and a change.
So first and third with nobody out. And 2 runs in. It will be the third baseman, Lamb, with the infield all the way in. That's a strike. Runner goes from first. Owings safe at second without a throw.
Hard to defend that play with the infield pulled in. Obviously, you have to hold your position as long as possible to try to make a play on the base runner from third on a ground ball.
Gets by Contreras. I guess it hit him. It did hit the batter Lamb, so Brito has to head back to third.
Get the feeling that Socrates likes to run. I mean, he's ready to go, man. Reminds me a little bit of Puig.
Well, I guess he's just going to be as he wishes to seem. Bases loaded, ball 1 on Blake Lally.
Whoa.
Yeah, it feels like if Brito gets to the big leagues here soon with the Diamondbacks-Dodgers matchup, Vin Scully's going to have a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
As one Socrates said, he who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have, and Brito would like to have a good pitch to hit. I mean, he just
Right.
fits, right?
That's perfect.
Britton needs to throw a strike, and he can't here, and he forces in a run. Bases loaded walk. Brito in, 7-5.
Still nobody out in the inning.
Four straight singles, a hit batter, a stolen base, a walk, 3 runs in. This is Danny Worth. former Tiger.
NL West is kind of an interesting division, isn't it? You've got the Dodgers, the Giants. Now, what many expect to be an emerging Padres team. And then the Rockies and the D-backs look like they could really struggle.
Yeah, and the Rockies have their two best players coming off injury. And Tulowitzki and Cargo.
I think Will Leach maybe wrote an article, Sports on Earth, where he broke down baseball prospectus or one of those organizations, a playoff percentage.
Okay.
And I want to say in his article, he pointed out that they gave the Dodgers an 89 or 90% chance of making the postseason.
Wow.
Which is crazy high, right, for a team before the season even starts?
Yeah. I would imagine the Nationals aren't too far behind.
Yeah, the Nationals were the second to the Dodgers.
Britton and the Cubs, they need an out. They haven't gotten one yet here in this 8th inning. Up the middle and through the drawn-in infield. 2 will score. Out at third is somebody. Whoever that runner is. Lally.
Diamondbacks running the bases in this inning like they're invisible. But they've been getting away with it. Now Lally gets caught. Broken bat. And weak contact induced. Skips by the pitcher through the drawn-in infield. That wasn't so bad of a go. So don't want to make that first out at third base, but pretty nice play. That was Haw out there that made that play.
So 1 out, runner at second, 5 runs in to make it 9-5. Yoenis Negrin is coming on, and we'll send it back to our Chicago studios and Luke Stuckmeyer. Bottom of the 8th here. The Cubs now their 3rd pitcher. And they actually started the inning with the lead, but Anthony Carter gave up 4 consecutive singles before he was lifted. So he was throwing strikes. Unfortunately, they were getting bounced into the outfield, and then Drake Britton came on, and he struggled to find the strike zone. This one dribbled into center, scoring 2, and now it's right-hander Yohaner Negrin from Cuba. And his numbers last year, AAA Iowa. Signed in 2011.
534 earned run average. You see the walk count pretty high, 35 free passes in 59 innings. It's not like the Diamondbacks have been tearing the cover off the ball in this inning. Finding a lot of holes.
Brandon Drury.
They like this kid.
Yep.
So a story I was referencing moments ago. Speaking to the baseball prospectus playoff odds. The Cardinals have the best chance in the NL Central, according to this. 61.5%. The Cubs second at 43. They project the Cubs to win the wild card. Dodgers are 89.7, so essentially 90% chance of making the postseason, according to Baseball Prospectus. So obviously they look at personnel, they look at strength of the division, interleague play, the schedule, and that number will move obviously up and down throughout the year.
Diamondbacks are
not good. 7% chance for the D-backs. Rockies 4.3%. So you can probably get some pretty good odds on the Rockies and the D-backs. The Central is interesting. The Pirates 26.8% lower than Milwaukee. I think a lot of people think the Pirates are the second best team in this division.
2-2 on Brandon Drury. Low. Full count.
Phillies have a 2% chance.
Got to be the lowest in the National League, right?
And I think it's the lowest in all of baseball. Yeah, lowest in the American League is the Twins at 6.9%.
Ball 4.
According to these odds now, based on Baseball Prospectus, the Cubs would be playing the Padres in the wild card game.
At what time?
Who's pitching? When do tickets go on sale?
Well, that'd be a fun one. If you could offer a Cub fan that you're in the wild card game playing the Padres right now, would you take that or let the season play out for a division?
Yeah.
I think this year you probably take the bird in the hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're Don Mattingly, you probably don't. Bus struck out in the 7th.
My scorecard made it all the way to the 7th tonight. I think I went 5 innings last time out.
So by Sunday you may finish. I'd rather have you announce all 9 and score 7 than the other way around. Selfishly. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Give a kid a hill.
High drive deep to right, and it will be caught by Silva. Two away. Now first and third. Evans, who started the inning with a single, will bat again. Spinner misses outside. We're back with you on CSN on Sunday. JD and I will have the call. Tomorrow, the White Sox will host the Cubs, and Hawkins Stoney will be on your television. Travis Wood and Hector Noesi from Camelback Ranch. Low and in, 2-0. It'll be 3 o'clock Central Time.
So, check on the Sox here and see what their playoff odds are according to Baseball Prospectus. .4%, third best in the AL Central. They still like Detroit.
Royals number 2?
No, the
Cleveland?
Royals are way down.
They've got them 4th.
Yeah, 10%. They've got Detroit having the best odds in the AL Central at 49.4%. I believe it's the only division in baseball where no team has better than 50% chance of making the postseason.
Yeah, I've seen some projections that have the Royals
they don't
finishing way under 500.
They don't like the Royals at all.
Club to center. Ha! Gets to the spot. A long running catch to end a long running bottom of the 8th. I'm not saying it took a while, but 7 more teams just got eliminated in the NCAA tournament during this inning. So we're going to go to the 9th. It's 9-5 Diamondbacks. And let's send it back to our studios in Chicago and Luke. Presented tonight commercial free by Apt Electronics, Appliances, and more. Pleasing people since 1936. So the Cubs now find themselves down 4 with only 3 outs to go. And the veteran left-hander Oliver Perez is on. Trying to get these final 3 outs. See what he's done in 3 Cactus League outings to this point.
I just poked my head in next door.
Yeah.
Mick's over there flying solo tonight. Seems to be holding it up okay.
He still has his voice.
Yeah, I think he's ready for another 4 or 5 innings.
Well, I don't think he's going to get that. He might get 1 more if the Cubs can extend this game. You know, the Dodgers have played 5 ties already this spring.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Lake against Perez.
So what do you think of all these playoff odds I threw out there? Do you agree with them?
Well, I mean, obviously they're odds. So if the Dodgers don't make the playoffs, then they hit that 10% chance that they don't. So it's obviously not predictive as much as just interesting. It's more of a forecast.
Mm-hmm. San Diego, better than San Francisco, according to this, just barely. And we'll see them Sunday.
I think probably for the most part they kind of match up with what happens. There are outliers every year. The Royals one intrigues me because of the year they're coming off. And I think a lot of people thought that would happen to the Pirates last year, and it didn't.
Yeah, what is the flaw people are identifying in the Kansas City roster? What don't they like? Do they think the bullpen can't repeat what they did last year?
That might be part of it. I mean, you had 3 guys with an ERA of under 1.5.
They lost a couple pieces from their rotation, right?
They didn't hit home runs. Great defensive club. They finished. All right, let me add by way of trivia fun. How many home runs do you think the Royals hit last year?
112.
95.
Wow.
Fewest in all of baseball. One thing they might need to do is give their catcher a little break every once in a while. He played 150 games in the regular season, basically played every game in the postseason, and then I think he went to Japan with the All-Stars after the year. Salvador Perez, they probably need to give him a little break every once in a while. This is Christian Villanueva.
So the big subtraction is James Shields.
Shields, Aoki, Butler. But yeah,
that's
Shields is, the main. I'd say the number 1 on that list. Yep. Fouled off.
And maybe some of it too is they just predict a rise of the White Sox, and maybe Cleveland being a little bit better. So it might be figure it's just going to be tougher in that division.
Now they also outplayed their Pythagorean one loss by 5 games last year. So according to their run differential, they should have been 84 and 78. but actually went 89 and 73. Outside.
Got Pythagorean and Socrates in the same broadcast.
That's pretty cool.
Good stuff.
Unplanned. Swing and a miss, strike 3, 2 outs. Here's Silva, who earlier this spring made a great throw from right field to help the Cubs beat the Reds. Nailed the tying run at the plate.
The Rangers are opening up a brand new food stand that's all fried. See that?
I did.
You get the fried s'moreo, marshmallows, breaded in graham cracker crust that is deep fried, mixed with two deep fried Oreos on a skewer, and drizzled with chocolate sauce and Cool Whip.
You already had dessert.
Chicken fried corn on the cob, fried in a buttermilk batter.
With a kale salad on the side. 2-2 now. Perez trying to strike out the side. He's always had really good stuff. Throwing strikes at times an issue when he was a starter. He's now a reliever. All arms and legs.
They're also going to have a Just Bacon stand, Len. Candied bacon, bacon cotton candy, and bacon beer will be featured there.
I'm in. We don't play in Arlington this year, do we?
No. Wait, maybe next year.
Knocked off the mask of the home plate umpire, Jim Reynolds.
Tough AB for a left-handed hitter. Gives you a lot of different looks. Turns his back to you. A little drop down. Slings it up there. Jim Reynolds pays the price. Tougher than a $2 steak, though. You can take him out of the game.
Tougher than bacon cotton candy.
Good take.
How about beer battered bacon? Do they have that on the menu?
Yeah, if they don't, I'm sure you could ask for it.
Ground ball toward right, and the Cubs are alive for at least another batter, and it will be Javier Baez. Speaking of batter.
Impressive AB right there, huh? Hung in there. Laid off that tough breaking ball, and put a good swing on that last one. Keeps that front shoulder closed.
We had over 13,000 in the ballpark when the game started. We don't have quite that many here now. But the fans who are left are making some noise. Strike two.
Well, he's probably going to bounce a breaking ball here or go way upstairs with a fastball.
Swing and a miss, and that will do it. Perez strikes out 3 in the ninth. And the final score as the Diamondbacks come back late. Arizona 9 and the Cubs 5. Kind of a rough night for the bullpen, and defensively a little loose tonight, too.
Yeah, a little sloppy at times. Looking for a star of the game. Well, the guys at the top of the order, Coughlin was on base 3 times. Dexter Fowler really a standout tonight. Worked a couple of walks, doubled, was hit by pitches last time up, but every one of his at-bats was really, really good, and I think Cub fans are really going to like the work that Dexter Fowler does at the top of the batting order.
So for JD, our director Jim Angio, our producer Michelle Godwin, our associate producer Chris Kamka, our technical manager Mark Harper, our executive producer Jim Cornell Jr., and our entire crew, I'm Len Casper saying good night from Arizona. You've been watching Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. Final score, Diamondbacks 9, Cubs 5.